Hey, what's up, guys? Should be live now. Give me 1 second. Let me tweet out the street or tweet out the stream, and then we can get into it. 4 games today. Honestly, no. I mean, not any of the teams have a lot to play for. Some teams can move up, can move down, but this is a slate that is pretty ugly. Like the last slate, we at least had teams fighting for their playoff lives and teams we know we're going to get big minutes. This one, not so much. So, yeah, it's going to be another ugly slate. But let's try. I'll try to break it down for you guys the best I can. All right. So, what up, guys? So, let's go over the news that we got so far today. OKC guys still questionable. Adams, Noel, OG got added to the list. He is also questionable. Looks like SGA, Gallinari are good to go. Some of these Magic guys are out for Thursday. Nets guys are in for Thursday. Joel Embiid will play. We got that news. The Sixers, again, still could technically move up and down in the standings, but do they want to extend their starters? No real clarity on that. I've been doing some digging. Some people think, Embiid could play normal minutes. Some people think could be like only a first half type thing. So I'm going to say that about a lot of guys. There's no real guarantee here with some of these guys. Burks is out. Not a huge deal because we do have the main starters in with Embiid, Tobias Harris, and Horford. So I'm not really going to get to the Philly value. That was value I was high on last slate. With the three main guys playing, I'm not going to get to the value. Jake Anderson, darts anyone. Thanks again for the $5 super chat every single day. Really, really do appreciate that, man. Can't thank you enough. Yeah, this slate, again, is going to be super ugly. I've said that about the last couple slates, and I'm taking that light once again because there's no guarantee in minutes for basically any of these starters. Like, we could see multiple teams play their starters only first half. And again, I've been trying to do some digging on Twitter, trying to figure some stuff out. There's nothing right now. Nothing that's clear. So House is out. Not huge news. Eric Gordon will be limited to 20 to 25 minutes. He is 4-1. I think he's in play, but with that type of minutes restriction, not my favorite play. Harden, Gordon, Malcolm, Covington, and Tucker are starting. The clear-cut play for me, obviously, is Harden. He is going to be extremely popular. I think 80+% owned in GPPs. But it's for good reason, because Mike D'Antoni extends the starters. I mean, in preseason meaningless games, Harden, Westbrook, they get 30-plus minutes. So I feel pretty good. We get at least 30 minutes from Harden. So I think he's your top spend up of the day for sure. Miles Turner is in for the Pacers. He's going to go super, super low owned because a lot of ownership is going to go to Aaron Holiday. I think Oladipo will pick up some ownership. I think Miles Turner goes forgotten about. Do the Pacers just match the Rockets a small ball, or do they just run Miles Turner out there for like 30 minutes? If they just stick with Turner, which is possible, he is a guy that will be very low owned. I think could have some upside. Jakar Sampson is starting for T.J. Warren. He's mid in price. I think he's fine, but we still have Holiday in the lineup. We still have Victor Oladipo, Miles Turner. We still have some higher usage guys in the offense. Oladipo, I think, looks pretty good at his price with no Brogdon, no T.J. Warren. And him and Aaron Holiday right now, I currently have in my lineup. I do like their upside going up against a team like Houston that doesn't play a whole lot of defense. So, yeah, their starting lineup is Aaron Holiday, Oladipo, Justin Holiday, Sampson, and Turner. So it's clearly the guards for me. It's Aaron Holiday and Oladipo. And then Turner, I think, makes for an interesting contrarian play because I don't think anyone will be on him. Let's go over the Vegas numbers real quick. Pacers and Rockets, it's a 232 over under. The Rockets are 7-point favorites. Raptors 76ers are 222 over under. The Raptors are 6-point favorites. Heat Thunder 222.5 over under. Heat are 3.5-point favorites. Clippers Nuggets 229 over under. Clippers are 4.5-point favorites. Now, kind of like I talked about my strategy last night, you could leave some spots open for value in the late games and just hope teams rest players, right? Say like the Clippers rest everyone. And then there's like a lot of good value there, or like the Nuggets rest everyone, right? So that's always a potential strategy. I mentioned it in the last slate. It's still actually, even though like I thought more players would rest, the value plays I mentioned did really well. Frank Mason, I think he almost had like a triple-double. He went for like 40 fantasy points. NAW, Frank Jackson were really good in limited time. Harry Giles went for a double-double. He crushed. Even Jabari Parker in like 15 minutes, I think got like 20 fancy points. So if you still went that direction, it didn't hurt you. But you could see kind of my strategy for that slate. Again, I mentioned in my video, but if we got more of those guys out, those value plays could have, if they got like 30 plus minutes, they could have absolutely crushed. And with so many people playing the value in the early games, TLC, Fultz, like there's just those guys are all going to be low owned. So sure, it didn't work out necessarily, and obviously Nurkic sinking my lineup over Lillard. Probably again that was a suboptimal play, but it was a shot I was willing to take. All right, enough of that. Enough of the breakdown, or enough of the look back again for last slate. So let's jump into the breakdown here. I'll start with the Pacers side. So Pacers are a team I'm pretty high on. Sure, there's no necessarily guarantee in minutes for these guys. We have no Warren, obviously no Sabonis, no Brogdon, which is good, right? So I think Aaron Holiday starting at point guard at 4-6 is going to be another very, very popular play. I'm fine eating the chalk here, though. He's a young guy. Like, maybe they don't play Oladipo and Turner in the fourth. Like, I think Holiday would still get run, like, either way. So I really do like Aaron Holiday at 4-6. He's going to be popular, sure. But when Brogdon's out, his upside goes way up playing the point guard. He's a good scorer, too, and it's a great matchup. So I do really like Aaron Holiday here at 4-6. One of my favorite value plays of the day. I also really like Oladipo at 6K. Sure. Am I worried that he only plays like 20 minutes? Yeah. But you could literally say that about any team starting. Like, that's why I'm not putting a whole lot of money in this slate, because like I would not be surprised if some teams just play their starters at half. And most of the time we're not going to get that clarity before a lock. So it's really just hoping your players get the good minutes. If we get 30 minutes out of Oladipo here with no Brogdon and no TJ Warren in a match against Houston, I think that looks really good, even at 6K. So I like Oladipo. I like Aaron Holiday. I think both will be pretty popular. A guy like Miles Turner intrigues me as a contrarian play. The minutes have been down on him, but there were blowouts. I think he was in foul trouble too. Like if he gets extended this game, the starters get their normal minutes. If he plays 35 minutes against Houston with no TJ Warren, no Brogdon, you could see like the big upside game from Turner, which we haven't really seen yet with no Sabonis. Like his usage does go way up. Could see it today, but the worry is, do they match the small ball with Houston or, limited minutes? But if everything goes right and he gets his 35 minutes in a matchup like this, like I would not be surprised if Turner goes for 40 plus fancy points. And he's going to go virtually unowned. So are you willing to take that risk? Again, as like a single entry guy like myself, it makes it a little bit riskier. But if you make multiple lineups, I don't hate the idea of taking a shot on him in one. The other value, Justin Holiday at 3-6, will probably get good run, but there still is Oladipo on the offense. There still is Aaron Holiday in the offense, and there's still Miles Turner in the offense, who I think a lot of the usage will go to those guys. Holiday is just, he's fine for value. I think he's solid, but I think there could be more upside potentially with value in the later games. Again, like I mentioned in the last slate, so sure, you could go to your value play Justin Holiday now, but what if the Nuggets rest all their starters, and then there's amazing value there? It's just, do you want to risk it and hope, better value opens up? It's a tricky question for sure. So I'm fine to get to Justin Holiday. He probably gets close to 30 minutes. He's 3-6. It's a good matchup. I'm fine with him for value. McDermott's another guy I've seen mentioned. I think he's in play. The issue with him is he's a little bit scoring dependent, but he should get more minutes here with no TJ Warren for sure. Like, if we get 30 minutes out of Doug McDermott at almost mid-price in this type of matchup, I think he's certainly in play. Like, he's a guy that can certainly get hot and get you 30-plus fantasy points behind the arc. Lastly, TJ Mcconnell. He is a little bit more of a veteran now, so I don't know if he's really going to get extended here. But if he gets, 20 minutes at 3.5, he's a good point-per-minute guy. So I have a little bit of interest there for value as well. And that's really it. With Miles Turner playing, I'm not going to get to the value bigs. Jakar Sampson is starting at min-price, but I don't know if he has that type of upside to win me a GPP. Like, I could see him getting you 20 to 25 fantasy points. But will that win you a GPP on this slate? I don't think so. So, sure, again, if you land on Sampson, if you land on Justin Holiday for value, I think it's okay. But are you willing to take that risk and wait for the later games and maybe teams rest their whole starters and then you get amazing value? So up to you guys on how you want to approach the slate. Let's talk about Houston now. So Harden is a clear-cut spin up in my opinion. Amazing play. Yeah, sure. They don't have a whole lot to play for, but there's no Russell Westbrook. And Mike D'Antoni, again, like I mentioned, he will just run the starters into the ground no matter what. In preseason games, guys, I don't mean anything. Harden, Westbrook get like 35 minutes. So I'm not really worried about the minutes here. The upside is massive. I just think you play Harden and move on. I don't even think it's worth trying to get different and fade him. I really don't. I think you play him and you move on. It's really that simple. So he's the top spend up of the day, in my opinion. Yeah, with Westbrook out, Covington's at 6'8". I'm not going to get to him at that price point. House is out, makes McLemore and Rivers a little bit more viable. But now with Eric Gordon back in the mix, I should say, he's going to play 20 to 25 minutes. Yeah, I think it's okay, but I think there might be better value, again, in the later games. So really for me, it's kind of Harden and that's it. Like, sure, Rivers, McLemore should get good run, but now they're priced up $5K and $4.8K. Like, I don't know if I want to pay that price tag for those guys. So that's how I feel about it. I think it's Harden, and that's about it. Let's talk about Toronto. So Toronto's a team, I mentioned a lot of the teams don't have a whole lot to play for. Like, they can move up and down the standings. Toronto's a team that has absolutely nothing to play for. They're locked in, but we've seen in the end of the year games, like some of the Raptors starters still get good runs. So I would not be surprised if the starters only play first half. I would not be surprised if they play the whole game and play like 30-plus minutes. It's a little bit tricky, right? So with the starters, Lowry, Siakam, Fred VanVleet, of those three guys for their prices, FVF is going to be my favorite play. He's also the youngest of, well, I guess Siakam might be, I think Siakam might be younger than him, but still, like, Lowry's the veteran here, so I could see maybe Fred VanVleet getting extended a little bit more. He is the cheapest of the three. I think he looks like the best point per dollar of those three guys. I think all three are in play, but again, how many minutes are we going to get from these Raptors guys in a meaningless game? I don't know. Ibaka is questionable. OG Anunoby is questionable. That could open up some potential value. So let's just say the starters play and only play a half. Then you get guys like a Norman Powell, a Chris Boucher that become in play. Now, Chris Boucher was a guy that I mentioned that last slate as a low-owned, cheap play that has upside. And he went for 52 fantasy points. Had a couple people DM me that made them a lot of money. Now he's at 4.6. So he's no longer, a great value play. But if we get no Ibaka, right, and Gasol's like really old, he's injury prone. Like, do they really want to run Gasol out there a lot? So I could see still Boucher getting like 25 minutes, and we see, he has that type of upside when he gets the run. So I think he's in play. It's just the question of how many minutes he plays, kind of dependent right now on Ibaka news. So a little bit up in the air there, but yeah, it would be Boucher. It would be Norman Powell would be the guys I'd look to if like some of the Toronto guys rest or they only play like a first half. Gasol at 4.3, I'm not going to do it. Matt Thomas, I think, had a decent game. He played 37 minutes. I don't know if we get that again because, again, we have Lowry, Fred VanVleet in. RHJ probably gets decent run if like Ibaka's out, but I would just prefer getting to Boucher, who I think has more upside. Terrence Davis, with Fred VanVleet and Lowry playing, I'm probably not going to go to him. So that's it for Toronto. Let's move on to Philly. So Philly, a little surprised here, but they are going to play their normal guys. Besides Alec Burks, Embiid, Tobias Harris, and Al Horford, we don't have clarity on what the minutes will be. Again, I've seen some people think Embiid will get limited. I've seen some people think he'll play normal minutes. No guarantee on that, but he's 9'9". That's not really the best match against Toronto, but this is Joel Embiid. Like, we could see him play 25 minutes and go for 40 fantasy points. Now, sure, that wouldn't be ideal, but on this slate, again, a lot of starters could be limited to like 20, 25-ish minutes. And Embiid is a really good point per minute guy. Obviously, we have no Ben Simmons. I know it's not the best matchup, but I think Embiid is certainly in play here at this price. I think he goes a little bit lower owned because people are worried he's dealing with an ankle injury. Don't have a whole lot necessarily to play for. I know they can still move up and down, but yeah, I have interest in him just because he's such a good point per minute guy, and there's going to be good value on this slate. There's already, I already mentioned Aaron Holiday, some other players. Like, if you just go for the floor, just jam these guys in, jam Harden in, jam Embiid in, I don't think that's the worst idea. And then maybe more value opens up in those late games, right? So I have interest in Embiid. Obviously, I'm worried about the minutes. I'm saying that about basically all these starters. Besides Harden, I'm pretty confident Harden gets 30-plus minutes. Every other team, it's up in the air. Horford and Tobias with Embiid playing, I'm probably not going to do it. I get if you go to Tobias at 8K. He gets a boost with no Ben Simmons, but I would just personally rather take the shot in Embiid and just hope he gets his normal run. Again, I'm not going to get to Horford with Embiid playing. Jay Rich is priced up too, even with no Alec Burks. I'm probably not going to get there. I know we went for 50. Finally saw an upside game, but now you're going to have to pay premium. I'm probably going to pass. Shake Milton's at 5.4. Again, that just seems a little bit too expensive. I'm not going to get to the value here with those three main guys playing. So, guys like Kylo Quinn, Thibault, those are guys I would look to if like all those guys are out. Norvell, Pele, right? But with all these guys in, I'm not going to get to the value there for Philly. So let's now go to Miami, OKC. On the Miami side, I think Jimmy Butler looks pretty good for his price at 7-8. The question is how many minutes he plays. We don't know. He could play only the first half. He could play 25 minutes, or he plays normal run and get like 32, 35 minutes. So that's why, again, the slate is so tricky. I think Jimmy Butler, if he gets his normal minutes, looks pretty decent at 7-8, right? He's a good high-usage guy in this offense. He does it all, points, rebounds, assists, blocks, steals. So I have interest in Jimmy. I have interest in Bam, especially if Noel and Steven Adams are out, who'd be matched up against Mike Muscala. Now, sure, the minutes have been down on Bam at a buyout, but if we get like close to 30 minutes in that type of matchup, he could have an upside game even in limited time. Dragic, none is already out, so Dragic, if he starts at point guard again, I like him. I know he's a veteran. I know he's been dealing with injuries, but if we get 25 to 30 minutes out of Goran Dragic starting at point guard, like I like that a good amount. So Dragic, guy I have interest in. Hero would probably be someone I'd look to if maybe like a couple of those guys rest, maybe like Jimmy or Dragic rest or something like that. Then I would get to Tyler Hero, who has shown huge upside when those guys are out. I'm probably not going to get to 5'2", Kelly Olynyk. Like Jay Crowder's 5'1", I'll pass. Duncan Robinson's at 5'4'9". Sure, I think he's in play just because he is a guy that can get hot behind the three-point line and can put up a good game, but don't know if I'm going to go out of my way to play him. Like Iguodala, like the veterans. If everyone plays, I'm not going to get to these guys. I'd only like consider some of these like cheapies if we get some guys resting for Miami. Let me refresh Fantasy Labs here so if we got any more news. We got about 15 minutes until lock. Let's see. Yep, still nothing more for this slate. So let's talk about OKC. Adams, Noel, both questionable. We still have Schroeder out. CP3 and SGA. If you're going to make me pick between those guards, I'm going to go with the younger SGA who rested the last game. Like I feel a little bit more safe targeting him than the veteran CP3. So, yeah, SGA, again, hasn't been great. How many minutes are we going to get out of him? I don't know. But he's younger and he rested the last game. I feel a little bit more comfortable targeting him than I do CP3. Sure, the matchup, again, not great against Miami. But if we get 35 minutes out of SGA there, at 7-4, I think it looks decent. Obviously, if we get like Chris Paul resting, it becomes a lot more viable. So, sure, right? There's a lot of news I think that is potentially still up in the air. Adams, Noel. If Adams is out and Noel plays, I really like Noel at 3-8. If Adams plays, I'm not going to get to him at 6-7. If both are out, then we can look to Bazley. Then we can look to Mike Muscala, who probably split the center minutes. Muscala probably gets 24, 25 minutes. Bazley probably gets like 35 minutes. Bazley's been really solid here the last couple games, 37 and 45 fantasy points. Does he continue to shoot that well, though? I don't know. The price is starting to come up, but he's the guy that looks like OKC wants to give good run. So if those two bigs are out, you could look to Muscala, you could look to Bazley there. If they rest CP3 and SGA and Gallinari and all those guys, then you could look to guys like Diallo, like Lorenzo Dort, like those guys become more viable. But if all the starters play, again, besides like Adams and Schroeder, I don't know if I'd get to the value in OKC, like those value guards. Gallinari's at 6'2". The Mets are just way down on him. I'm not going to do it. Even in like close games that have mattered, he's only played like 22, 24 minutes. I'm just not getting to 6'2" Gallinari. And that's it for me in OKC. Let's finally talk about the Clippers and the Nuggets. I think it's if the Denver can still technically catch the Clippers, they're game and a half back, but I don't think they want to because currently Denver's going to play Utah and the Clippers are going to play Mavs. So Denver, again, they would rather play Utah than Dallas. So I don't think Denver really wants to win this game. Clippers side, you could say like they're probably going to try to lose. I don't know though. That's just my speculation because again, the Jazz are a much easier matchup than Dallas, in my opinion. I think most people, including most people in the NBA, too, agree with that. Clippers, sure. Again, we have no idea how many minutes these starters are going to get. I would not be surprised if they rest all their main guys. I would not be surprised if maybe a Kawhi rest or Lou Williams, a veteran. So who knows? Let's just say they all play. I think Kawhi's fine at 9-5, being a tough spot. I think George is decent at 8-4. Don't really stand out. I think, if one or a couple guys rest, then you get to the guy who's not resting. So it's a little bit tricky to break down right now. Lou Williams is at 5'5", a veteran. I don't know how many minutes he gets at 5'5". Again, I think he's just okay. Zubac intrigues me, even in a tough spot, just because he's a younger guy. Like I could see him still getting 25 minutes and say we get like a lot of those guys resting. then Zubac does get a boost. But he is a guy that will be in some foul trouble. Or he is in foul trouble a decent amount most of the time. I'm not going to get to 5-2 Marcus Morris unless we get like Paul George and Kawhi out or something like that. Reggie at 5-1. Again, the Mets are a little bit up and down in him. I don't really feel great about that. We do have Shamet, no Beverly. The last guy I'll mention is Terrence Mann. I think, if we get some more guys resting, he could be someone that could look decent. Again, maybe like a JaMychal Green if we get some other guys resting. Like those two could be potentially in play. Jonathan Motley, maybe. I think he's still on the active roster. Like, if we get a lot of guys resting, like I don't know if they would even give Joakim Noah minutes because he's a veteran. So, yeah, we'll see. Amir Coffey could become... that's just speculation if they rest a lot of guys. So, it's a little bit tricky to break down right now because we don't have that news. Lastly, Denver. So, the starters for Denver have been getting limited here recently, which does worry me. Jokic, MPJ, Jamal Murray. Jokic at 9-2 probably gets 25 minutes 2 of the last 3 games. They have not played the fourth quarter in close games, which is worrisome. You never know. He could... It's Mike Malone. Who the hell knows with him? We could just get the normal starting minutes from Denver. We could get 32-plus minutes from these guys. If that's the case, I think Jokic could have a really good game and a good matchup individually against Avicii Zubac. So, yeah, I have interest in Jokic. The big question mark is the minutes. Same thing with Michael Porter Jr., same thing with Jamal Murray. Now, I think I prefer Jokic to those guys because the individual matchup is better for them, whereas MPJ could be matched against a Kawhi Leonard or Paul George. Jamal Murray, same thing. They might throw one of those good defenders on Jamal Murray. So, I would probably prefer Jokic of the 3, but the minutes are in question. In 2 of the last 3 games, the starters have not gotten fourth quarter run in close games. So that makes them obviously risky. We have no Barton, no Gary Harris. Jeremy Grant's status is up in the air. I don't know how many minutes Paul Millsap gets, so I'm not going to get to him at 5K. There are some interesting value plays. So let's just say Denver ends up resting all their main guys, right? If that's the case, then there's some really good value here. So a guy like Monte Morris at 4-2. Mason Plumlee would become one of my favorite value plays at 4-2. Like the minutes have been up on Mason Plumlee because the starters' minutes have been down. So 27 minutes in that game against Portland, almost 30 fantasy points. 25 against the Lakers, 24 fantasy points. He's a good point per minute guy. So I don't mind taking a shot on Plumlee and just hope the starters get, only play like 25 minutes because Plumlee is a guy that could crush in that time. Monte Morris, again, kind of dependent right now on Jamal Murray news, but he has still played decent minutes even off the bench. A guy like PJ Dozier has been getting a good run. Like, I would consider him, who's gotten 22 and 27 minutes in 2 of the last 3 games. He's a good point per minute guy. And then finally, Bol is in play for sure, guys. 25 and 21 minutes last 2 games, 20 and 20 fantasy points. If starters get ruled out, that could be a huge boost for Bol. Even if the starters play, I think we still get decent run from Bol after what we've seen the last couple games. So that's kind of how I would approach it right now. If the starters get scratched or they limit a lot of them, then again, it's Morris, it's Plumlee, it's PJ Dozier, it's Bol, the guys I would look to for Denver. All right, one more time. Let me refresh Fantasy Labs, and then we'll get to questions. We got about 7 minutes until lock. Nothing more. Real quick, though, before I get into questions, if you guys enjoy the content, would really, really appreciate, guys. Hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and spread the word. If you have friends that play DFS and you like the content, would really appreciate, again, if you could spread the word. So let's get into questions here. Again, really, really tricky slate. I recommend playing light because there's a lot of just minutes questions up in the air. I've got Harden, Aaron Holiday, Oladipo, Bazley, and Embiid so far. Who should I fill the remainder of my lineup with? I think that's a decent core, right? If Adams and Noel are still out, I think Bazley will look solid. Again, it's kind of, you could just take a wait-and-see approach and hope we get some guys resting in the later games. Bowl season, I think Bol's in play. Obviously become a lot more viable starters rest. We're almost to 300 viewers, concurrent viewers right now, so that's kind of crazy too, even on a really shitty 4-game slate like this. So thanks again, guys, for all the support. I think I'm playing Harden and Holiday in the first game. Yeah, I like Aaron Holiday. I like Harden. I'm also playing Oladipo. Those are the 3 I'm playing in the first game. Again, I like both Pacers guards in a matchup against Houston with no T.J. Warren, with no Malcolm Brogdon. Dragic and Butler, I think if you can do it. Again, the minutes are a little bit more up in the air. I love Goran Dragic tonight. What do you guys think? I do too. If Goran Dragic starts at point guard, I like him. I do. If he gets close to 30 minutes, I think that's really, really solid. Congrats in 4K, DK. Hey, thanks, man. Really do appreciate it. My goal right now, it's, August 12th. Goal is to hit 5K by the end of the month. Don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll see. How much is on the line? How much is on the line for you? I'm not playing a lot of money. I'm playing like $70 right now. Right now, I have Dragic, Aaron Holiday, Depot, MPJ, Bam, Butler, Bull, and SGA. I imagine this will change 875 times. Yeah, I mean, there's probably going to be breaking news in the later games, but I think that's a good start right now. Do you like Doug or Sampson more from the Pacers? Tricky one. I don't think either are like amazing plays, but McDermott's the upside guy. Like Doug McDermott, if he's shooting well, he could go for 30. So if you're just shooting for upside, I think it's Doug McDermott. Jakar Sampson may be the safer play because he's starting, but I don't think Jakar Sampson's going to go out and get your 30-plus fancy points, right? Like, I would not be surprised if Jakar Sampson gets 20, maybe 25 fancy points at min price. But will that win you a tournament on this slate? My guess is probably not with, again, potential for value in the later games. I'm stacking the first game with Holiday, Harden, Rocco, Turner, then waiting to see what value opens up. Not a bad idea at all. You can go Turner, Holiday, and Depot. Or can you? Yeah, I think you can. Right? I'm slightly worried about the minutes for Miles Turner because Houston runs small. But if we get over 30 minutes from Miles Turner, you could see an upside game here from him against the Rockets. Smash the like button, y'all. He does this for free. At least you can do to help him out. Put yourself in his shoes all the time is helping us out. Hey, really appreciate that, Cam. Thank you. MPJ, Butler, and Harris, would you play? Of those three guys, right now it's going to be Jimmy Butler for me. You're the man, DK. Thanks, man. You like Covington today? Not a whole lot. I mean, he's 6'8". I think he's solid because I guess the one thing, again, with those Houston starters is they're going to play the big minutes. So it's just like Covington's not at a discount, but he's a guy that if he hits the threes, he can get you 40-plus fantasy points. So I'm okay with Covington. Need a power forward. I don't know what the rest of your roster looks like. Anyone you're prioritizing at center, top 3 maybe? Let's see. So right now, I currently have Embiid in my lineup. I know the risk, right? There's potential he gets limited. Jokic, if he gets extended, I like. Bam Adebayo, again, he could be matched up against like Baisley, Mike Muscala. The minutes been down on him though, so it's a tricky one for me to answer right now. Really, like Miles Turner, do you want to take the shot there and hope he gets 30-plus minutes? I think cheaper options again, maybe Plumlee if the starters get limited again. Boucher has flash upside. Baisley has flash upside, but we need the news there with Noel and Adams, so it's a little bit tricky for me to answer right now. Harris or MPJ? Of those two guys, I will go MPJ, but that's close. Just because MPJ's younger than Tobias, but should we fade Jakar Sampson and wait for value later? It's up to you, right? I think Jakar is, I guess, safe value. He's starting. He's mid-price. It's Houston. But there could be, again, more value in the late games. Any core or value you're on, I mean, I can give it. It's tricky on a slate like this core, but I'm going to go, again, Harden, Aaron Holiday. I'm playing Oladipo, too. So those those are the guys I'm playing from the early game. Anyone else? Let's see. Again, it's tricky because we don't know news. I'll go Goran Dragic, assuming he starts the point guard and gets his normal run, because I think the 5-3 price looks pretty good for him. But again, a lot of that in the later games is dependent. So first 3 guys, I feel pretty good about that with Holiday, Harden, and Oladipo. Again, another guy I've interest in there is Miles Turner if you want to take that risk. Van Fleet and Lowry, the only players I trust the big minutes. They could, right? But Toronto is not playing for anything, so we don't really know for sure. Would you spend up Zubac or Turner? Would you rather spend up for Turner or pay down for Zubac? I think Miles Turner, I like the upside a little bit more for his type of matchup. I wonder if Harden gets limited like Westbrook did. So Westbrook did not get limited last game. It was actually a blowout. He was going to play. He was going to sub back in, but it was a complete blowout. So, I would not be worried about Harden's minutes. I think you just play Harden and move on. Harden, Holiday, Oladipo, Bull, Bam, SGA, waiting on value. Yep, I think that looks pretty good. Then Dragic, yep. Again, I agree with that. Harden, let's see. Harden, Sampson, and Aaron Holiday okay for the first game? Yeah, fine with it. Right. Sampson is maybe not a guy that has enormous upside, but I think if he's starting, it's a good matchup. I'm fine if you get to him. How does Boucher look today? Dependent on news, dependent on Ibaka news. If Ibaka plays and Gasol plays, the minutes would be more in question there. But if one or maybe both are out, then he becomes a lot more viable. So tricky one to answer right now. Bol getting 150. I mean, again, I think Bol is in play, really. And if we get some more guys ruled out for Denver for rest or something like that, he becomes a lot more viable. Even so, even in the game, like games where starters have been playing. He's played 21 and 25 minutes. None out. Yep, again, that's why I like Drogic. You like Mcconnell, not at 5K. I'm not going to do it. I have 5 Pacers in my cash line. Oh, boy. That does seem like a lot, but I get it, right? It's a good matchup, and we have guys out. So I'm fine with it. Jakar or Dozier, I like the upside more on PJ Dozier, but the minutes are probably a little bit more in question. Personally, I would go Dozier over Jakar Sampson, but that's just me. Let's see. Hoping for a Pacer blowout so Harden gets benched. Possibly. I think Harden is going to be literally like 80+% owned. Wes Brick. Yeah, he was bricking a lot of shots for sure. Oh, my bad. No worries. Wasn't able to watch the game. No worries, man. Miles Turner sucks. Yeah, he does kind of suck right now. But we do have no Teacher Warren. We do have no Malcolm Brogdon and some matchup against Houston that, like, their tallest guys like 6'7". So maybe we finally see the upside game from Turner with no Sabonis. Lock, thanks, DK. Yep, no problem, man. I'm actually fading Harden, LOL. That is a bold strategy and something I wouldn't do, but I get it. It's a huge ownership play. So in the $66 tournament I am in, we have Aaron Holiday, 68% owned. James Harden, 83% owned. I was right there. And then Victor Oladipo, 56%. So in the, I mean, if you consider $66 high roller, I guess. High dollar term, I should say. Let's see. Let me try to find some other ownership on some of these guys in the $66. Derrick Jones. I mean, if guys rest for Miami, I would look to him. If not, probably not. So TJ McConnell. This is interesting. I did like him as a contrarian option for sure. But TJ McConnell in the $66 tournament came in at 44% ownership. You know, my issue with him is he doesn't play a whole lot alongside Aaron Holiday. I mean, I like the play. Don't get me wrong. I like TJ McConnell at 3.5. But 44% owned. Doug McDermott coming in at 16%. Jeff Green coming in at 10%. Let me see if I can find some other guys here. So look at this guy ran a game stack. Jakar Sampson in the $66, 25% owned. Again, fine with it. He's min price. Justin Holiday came in at 44% owned. So that's interesting, right? It looks like everyone is just loading up on the value in the first game. I don't think that's a bad idea. I don't. But like I mentioned in the last slate, there could be better value in the late games. It's just dependent on, do teams run their starters out there? Are you willing to take that risk and wait? Right? So it looks like, at least in the $66 tournament, there is huge ownership in this game. Justin Holiday, 40+% owned. TJ McConnell, 40+% owned. Jakar Sampson's 25%. Interesting. I'm not saying they're bad plays. I just didn't think all those guys would be that high owned. What is Covington ownership? I didn't see Covington. Again, I think the price point kind of made him out of play. I'll try to find him. And Doug McDermott, 16%. There is a lot of ownership here in this early game. Ben McLemore, 6%. Yeah, 5K. I wouldn't have done that. Here's Robert Covington. Robert Covington, 28% owned. Don't hate that, right? He's gonna play most likely a good minute. So, and a sample size, Miles Turner averages 60 points, 36 without Brogdon and Warren, Sabonis off the court. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think Turner could have an upside game here. Yeah, I played TJ because of his point per minute upside and potential and more run of starters limited. Yeah, I mean, again, I like the TJ McConnell play. I do. I really do, but I did not think he'd be 45% owned. Fast Malcolmore dropping 40. Problem is if value opens up late, it means that there's no more studs to play, LOL. Yeah, if that's the case, though, just leave money on the table because there's going to be some really good value if starters rest for some teams. There's going to be really, really good value. Oladipo 30%, 43% of Holiday. I would rather get to Oladipo there over Justin Holiday for sure. Or are you talking about Aaron Holiday? Oh, it could be Aaron Holiday. I mean, both Holidays are high on. $66, fuck no. I mean, yeah. Covington is 50% of FanDuel. Fine with me. I'm spending $250 today. TJ is way over-owned in my opinion. I kind of agree. I mean, like I said, I like TJ McConnell at 3.5, but how many minutes he's going to get? If I knew TJ McConnell was going to play 25 minutes, I would love him too. I would jam him in there as well. But I think you could still play only 15 or so minutes. Who knows? You skip me, late game sleeper. Oh, late game sleeper. It's hard to say right now. Dependent on news. Yeah, I don't have an answer for you right now, unfortunately. Just keep track of news. If you don't follow me on Twitter, it's important to do so. I'll keep you guys updated, and when we get starting live in the late game, I'll let you know if guys rest, like who are my favorite plays. All right, guys, I think that about wraps it up. 25 minutes is different. He hasn't seen that. Yeah, I know, but I don't know if we necessarily get 25 minutes. That's what I'm saying. Like, if I knew he was going to get 25 minutes, I would play TJ McConnell too. But I don't think that's necessarily secure. They have, like, the Pacers do have other guards they can still use. Let's go to the Pacers really quick just before I get out of here. So, a lot of people want TJ McConnell. I think that's fine. They have Edmund Sumner they can use. Naz Meecher Long, I think it is available. Yeah. So, McConnell is a veteran. Who knows, right? 19, 14, 18, 13 minutes. If I knew he was going to play 25 minutes, I would really like him too, but I don't know if those minutes are necessarily secure. Let's see, not coming back by. Okay. Thanks, DK. Yeah, of course, man. The leverage will help some later in low-owned. What about Rivers? I'm not getting to Rivers. I rolled the dice with picking Sumner over TJ in the showdown slate. Don't leave me. Like GL. Rivers, $11. 11 in my turn. You like the bid. Sorry, 11%. Thanks, Happy. Rivers. No, I couldn't find Rivers. I think he's gonna be low owned. I wouldn't have got to him. But all right, guys, I'm gonna get out here. Good luck. Hope you guys have a good day, and I will see you all later.